All right, so I'm gonna make this a little bit quick. Okay, so we're gonna go through a series of why I believe that exercise is actually, I would say it's equal. A lot of people like to argue that diet is more important than exercise, but I would argue that it's actually equally as important or more so important because there's so many things that come out of exercise that you will not get out of dieting alone, right? So let's go through the quick list. First of all, building strength. You're not gonna be able to build strength just through your diet. You need a stimulus for your body to actually want to go and, because you gotta break down the muscle and it has to go and repair and build muscle to get stronger, right? So it needs a stimulus that encourages the body to actually build muscle. So you're gonna have to work out to do that. You can't get that actually just through diet alone. The next one is improving your cardiovascular fitness, okay? So with your cardiovascular fitness, there is no diet again. It can actually help. Let's say you have a poor cardiovascular fitness, diet might help offset that, but it cannot strengthen your cardiovascular fitness, right? The capacity for your cardiovascular to output more, to be stronger, to be more efficient, that actually requires exercise. And the thing is, like, even though diet might help offset some of the detriment that we may have caused to ourselves through our cardiovascular fitness, adding exercise will actually help improve it along with diet. So diet alone actually won't actually resolve it as fast as having diet and exercise together. Exercise is actually a vital component to improving that aspect of cardiovascular health. So diet alone isn't going to be able to do that, right? So that's another important thing that we got to consider is actually adding cardio, muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance. Diet isn't going to be able to do that for us. Okay, so we're coming to mental health. Mental health, sure, diet. There's a lot of hormones that are actually released into our body when we are actually working out. So we get happy chemicals that come out, dopamine, endorphins, all this stuff comes out. The same chemicals actually that are released during, sexual intimacy is actually the same chemicals that are released during exercise. So that's kind of a cool thing to know, that when you're exercising, you're actually boosting your happiness. You're actually building your own confidence in yourself, and it's actually sustainable. They say chocolate will do that, right? If we're talking about diet, but the thing is, like, you don't want to be eating chocolate all day to get that. And exercise is far longer lasting in terms of maintaining those emotional factors that we get from exercise. Okay, improving your metabolic rate. So just exercise alone will improve your metabolic rate. Just because you're being more active, your metabolic rate will rise. But we all know that the metabolic rate doesn't actually come just from the exercise. Like, you can exercise in the gym all day and it'll take you forever to burn off a Big Mac. But it's not the aspect of exercise in the gym, but it's actually boosting your metabolic rate year after year after year, right? So your metabolic rate goes up long term. And if you continue to exercise, continue to build muscle, continue to increase your capacity for output, your metabolic rate will just naturally go up. So you'll be able to actually eat these things and offset a lot more of the detriment of these foods that we eat through exercise. Now, you got to tell me, where are you going to get that through a diet? You won't be able to do that, right? It's exercise that will give you that aspect of metabolic boost, and diet won't be able to do that for you. Bone density, okay? There's no amount of calcium you're going to be able to consume to match the capacity for bone density from putting resistance against your bones. The only way to put resistance against your bones is to lift weights, to push against something, have your bones push against something else, right? That's the only way you're going to be able to do it. So diet isn't going to be able to do that for you. You're going to have to actually go and exercise. Flexibility and joint health requires movement, expansion of the limbs. As a massage therapist in training, we also focus on stretches for our clients to improve mobility. Okay, so you need to actually have movement on those joints to actually have them remain pliable. Pretty much when you're exercising, what are you doing? You're putting yourself into a deep squats. You're keeping your mobility that way. So every time you're going into a full range of motion when you're exercising, you're actually trying to maintain joint mobility. You're not going to be able to do that with a salad, right? So you're gonna have to actually get moving to actually maintain your joint mobility, especially long term. When as we age, as we get older, we're gonna lose a little bit of that mobility, and it's important to maintain that and keep keep it so we can still remain mobile and active as we get older. Okay, so weight gain, weight loss. A lot of times they say weight gain or abs are made in the kitchen. Okay, that's true. But if we were to take the exercise equation out of everybody that has abs, they're not going to get the same results, right? So diet alone, let's say you got your physique with working out and dieting, and then you took the exercise out and did dieting alone, you wouldn't be able to maintain that exact same result. So yeah, maybe having the diet, the exercise, and the diet helped you get that. But to get the visible abs, there was the exercise first, and then there was the diet to reveal it, right? So, but if you took the exercise out, you would probably start depreciating muscle, right? So you begin to lose muscle because, again, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's just the name of the game here. So you'd lose the muscle. You wouldn't have the same tonality, the same body composition, or the thick abs that would be revealed after you revealed the abs. So I mean, the exercise portion is still primary for me in this aspect. So you need to have the exercise aspect, even for weight management. Weight management requires activity, even if it's like light jogging and deep dieting, right? You still need to have some kind of activity involved in them. So dieting alone and sitting around, you're not going to get any results from that. Mental resilience and discipline. This is actually one of my favorite, mental resilience and discipline, right? When you're working out, you're always challenging yourself. You're actually trying to push weight that you normally cannot push. You're always trying to expand beyond that to get to the next level. This is huge for mental resilience, discipline. Sometimes it's scary under that weight when you're going for a 1 rep max. Sometimes, yeah, like you're overcoming these fears. You're building a level of confidence. You're building a level of resilience. You're building a level of discipline to wake up in the morning and get after it, even on days you don't want to, even on days that you feel sore, even on days you don't feel good. There's an aspect that you train mentally that makes you mentally more stronger and more disciplined, and that aspect alone can be carried out through so many areas of your life. It's so important to have that, and it's one of my favorite things that comes out of exercise and working out. All right, another thing is age-related muscle loss. So after the age of, I think it was 40, I don't know, but I know after your mid-30s, your testosterone level starts going down. Right, so exercise helps maintain that level of testosterone. Right, there's exercise that help boost testosterone, such as back squats, stuff like that. You can actually help offset that by working out. After a certain age, I believe it's 40, we start losing drastically a lot of muscle per year. I think a pound or something like that. But it's something ridiculous. The thing is, like, if you maintain it, there's tons of videos. Actually, I came across one today. He was like 70 years old and he was dumbbell pressing 100 pounds on each side. And he was like an old dude, So, I mean, again, in my massage therapy training, we actually went over this, that if you were in your 30s and you were working out and you maintain that level of working out into your 70s, that you would maintain that same level of muscle if you maintain that same level of activity. Exercise will do that for you. Diet will not. So be active and remain active. That's an important key to longevity into our old age. Such an important aspect. So another thing is like proper lifestyle maintenance in general. Like once you start exercising and building that into a habit, once that's a habit, this is one of the key things for me is to get exercise as a habit first before you think that dieting is more important. A lot of people think dieting is more important. They focus on the diet aspect and they slack off on the exercise portion. But to me, once you have that habit of exercise, you're always going to be thinking about, health in general, because, well, that's the whole thing about working out, right? You're improving your health, you're improving your fitness. And once you get thinking about that, you start thinking about other aspects of health and fitness, right? So you start thinking about dieting, right? You start thinking about even intermittent fasting or whatever, right? You start thinking about your workouts, how to make them better, how to get your diet to match your workouts, how to get your diets to give you results, whether you want to build muscle, whether you want to lose you lose fats, right? Whatever it is, whether you want your diet to amplify your endurance training for like long marathon runs, and you start like looking at these different angles. That all starts with having a habit of exercise, right? I believe that having a habit of exercise promotes the mindset of health and fitness more than having a habit of good eating. I think it has to start with that habit of good exercise first before you move into the habit of good dieting. Again, this is actually, remember, this is my opinion, right? So I started there, and I think if I was to sit down and separate the two, dieting versus exercise and physical fitness, I would always put physical fitness first because we covered a lot of it. Stretching, ROM drills, strength training, endurance training, all this stuff. You can't get so much stuff from those aspects you cannot get from dieting alone. So you need to build a habit of activity, right? Which is the number one thing that I think is most important, first and foremost. Following that, exercise into real life, daily life. Exercise helps you become more efficient, more functional in real life. It raises your level of energy, right? It makes things that easier to do. If you're moving furniture, if you have to chase down something, right? Run after your kid because of, cars gonna come and hit your kid or something, right? You can actually like make a quick dash and grab your kid. There's been scenarios, in all honesty, there's been scenarios that I've heard of where, things like this happen, and because of their physical fitness, they were able to jump in and offset the events that could have been disastrous, right, for a loved one. Scenarios where that happens. So, in real life, it's beneficial in so many ways. And even if those disastrous moments don't happen, living life becomes easier, right? Carrying groceries is not a problem. He carried groceries up a flight of stairs. I have a whole story about that when I was unfit. It's important to have a level of fitness, even just to improve your everyday life and lifestyle. Backstep a little bit, because we're talking about energy. So one of the things that exercise is going to do is actually improve your energy systems, which dieting will not be able to do. Because you have your glycolysis system where your body breaks down sugar. You got your oxidative where it breaks down fat. You have ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is creatine, right? So your body will use these three sources, and for it to be efficient at using these energies to maintain your energy levels for the things that you do throughout your daily life requires exercise that you will not get through diet. So I think we summed up majority of the things that you need exercise for versus dieting. And again, this goes back to, I'm not saying that dieting is bad. Dieting is actually the sidekick to exercise, not the reverse. So you got the superhero, which is exercise, and then you got the sidekick, which is dieting, right? Dieting will help improve those aspects, amplify those aspects that exercise will give you in the first place, right? So, people like to think of that in reverse, right? That diet is the superhero, exercise is the sidekick. For me, it's the other way around. They're not equal to me. Exercise is more important, and then the diet comes after. But you need to have that habit of exercise first. All right. So that's a wrap. See you later, guys.